Okay, so why food isn't enough. We are going to hit all of the goodies on why food isn't enough. I remember when I was in chiropractic school and I would say, I don't need vitamins. Like, I'm going to get all my nutrients from my food. Because I grew up where my dad did all the hunting. I don't know if you guys grew up where your family did that. We hunt and we fish. And that is literally how we filled our freezer. And we lived off of it year-round. We had a garden in the backyard. My grandparents had a garden. And so that's literally what we did. Rebecca, can you just turn the music off? That's literally how we ate. There was a place across the street from our house that we could occasionally go get a nectarine or a watermelon. But like, for the most part, we had that in our own garden. So that's really how I grew up, which that's kind of what I thought everybody did. You got your food that way. Like, you just grew it or you shot it and you ate it. Like, that's kind of what we did. And so when I went to school and I started learning about all this testing, I would get tested and I would do saliva and blood and urine testing. And I'm like, what is going on? Why am I so nutrient deficient? Like, I don't like this. I thought I literally could just eat good and I'd be good to go. And now I'm like, hi, Diane, come on in. And now and that's fast forward. So it's been over 20 years since I graduated. It's not gotten better. It's gotten so much worse. And so it's interesting that struggle and that fight and that battle that I remember having in chiropractic school. I'm not taking vitamins. I'm going to eat good food and that's how I'm going to get it. Now I'm like, oh, okay. I get it now, but I don't like it. I still don't like it. So I think what we'll do tonight, I'll talk about, we're going to hit on what those nutrients are. We're going to hit on, where you're going to get this stuff from, but why? Like, why is it that we can't get our, nutrients from our food and food is not enough? Okay, so let's get into what's war got to do with your food. Anybody know what's war got to do with your food? Who knows what, or has ever heard of Monsanto? Anybody? Monsanto? So Monsanto, a lot of people don't know what Monsanto is. So Monsanto is a company that actually got bought out by Bayer, okay, the company that does, what do we know Bayer for? Aspirin, right? And so they bought the company out, and what Monsanto did is they basically cornered the market on seed. And so all the local farmers, big and small, had to buy their seed from them. And they started to make the seeds and grow them and kind of connected them with the whole glyphosate. You guys have heard of glyphosate, Roundup. And so it really created where the seed that brings us our food and all of our nutrients is now not the seed that we once knew, where we could grow our own stuff in our own garden. And if you ever go to local farmers markets and you talk to some of these folks, they're frustrated. The farmers, the local farmers, they're frustrated. They feel like they have no other options, no choices. And so they got bought out and they're trying to change their name now, but they've really killed all the organic stuff and the organic feed. And then what we've done is we've sprayed all of our crops full of these toxic chemicals. And so now they're saying that it's the greatest travesty against humankind is what Monsanto has done. And so that's really our big war that we have going on right now on food. Now, I don't know if they'll get shut down because they're bought out by a bigger giant than they were before. But we've got to pray. We've got a lot of work to do in this department. When we were in Zimbabwe, if you guys know that my husband and I were in Zimbabwe and we opened a clinic like this one. It was our second office. This is our third office. And when we went there, the nation in Zimbabwe, if you've ever traveled there, you know anything about Zimbabwe, it is a completely healthcare bankrupt system there. Like, they just have no healthcare. The average life expectancy is between 36 and 38. And more than 1/3 of the population there has HIV. So they usually will survive on one meal a day. That's really all they have. There's no sewage, there's no power. And so our job, our task that we were given was to change and reform healthcare in the nation. So we were working with governmental agencies. we went into the school system and the medical school, and we actually taught in front of over 300 medical doctors, and they got CEU hours from us. How does that kind of grab you? It's kind of different, right? That thinking process. So they got CEU hours from us. Then they actually put us in front of 300 people that represented the entire agricultural system in the nation. And I'm like, I don't have a garden right now, but you want me in front of these people? Okay, here we go. And so, but you don't really have to have a garden to understand, how God made the world and the seed and the food, and right? You don't really have to have that. It's just the understanding. And so anyway, I stood in front of them, and they're starving, right? They're starving. They don't know where their food's going to come from, and they're looking to us to go, hey, help reform the nation. Show us how to do this. And I'm sitting there saying, well, do it the way God designed the system. Don't try to, do things like genetically modified organisms, because that's really what they were asking us. Hey, what about GMOs? We can feed a lot more people. We can feed a lot more people. Do you guys understand? Do you know what GMOs are? Genetically modified organisms. So if we take a fake seed that God didn't make, and we plant it all over the nation, then we'll have more food to feed these starving people. You can see the logic, right? You can see the logic. And so my plea was, there's a way that seems right to man, but in the end it leads to what? Leads to death, disease, right? But how do you say that to a nation full of people who have HIV and are starving? And then really catch it. So this is kind of our history, our background of this whole food situation and the time that we spent trying to really help people. And really what they did was they didn't listen. So they went ahead and they brought in the GMO seed in the nation. Now all we had was HIV. That's nothing to sneeze at, but that's all we had as far as disease is concerned. Now we bring in GMO, fast forward 3 to 5 years, suddenly now we have diabetes, we have bowel disease, we have all kinds of autoimmune types of disorder they didn't have before. And when you, they would make, what do you call it? It's corn mealy meal. What do you call it? That was their meal every day. Okay, it's almost like a pile of grits, I guess, is the best way to describe it. That was their one meal a day. Was a bowl of grits. Okay, and if you have grits pre-GMO, they were dark, and they didn't really look super appetizing, but they were dense and packed full of nutrients. Then fast forward to GMO seed, and now what it looks like is it looks white and fluffy and tastes pretty sweet. Difference is one was packed full of nutrients and the other turned to sugar quickly in your mouth and was basically just sugar. They loved the taste of it because it was much sweeter, but they were really hungry after they ate it because the nutrients were gone. And so now we've got HIV combined with all these other diseases. And so that's really, again, there's a way that seems right to man, but in the end it leads to death. That's really where we led to. So that's the war that we have going on. In the United States, it is not required to label that this stuff is genetically modified. It's not required. So again, another war. For us, we go into the grocery store and we're just going to get tomatoes and we're going to get, we're going to make a salad. So we might get lettuce and tomatoes and carrots and, cucumbers and the items that you might think to put in your salad. But we have to take a step back and we have to look now when we're in the grocery store and recognize that they don't have to label. If you're going to go get a tomato and you see a whole row of tomatoes and every tomato is the same size, same shape, same color with the same dent and the stem is pointing the same direction. What does that tell you? Did God make it like that? No. You're going to look next time when you go in, like it'll be like a different shopping experience. Because now suddenly those tomatoes, God didn't grow them. Those are the bad seed that we talked about, the Monsanto seeds. And so there's another war, because now we're in the grocery store and we don't even know like what's okay to eat, what's real, what did God grow, what's organic. So you're going to want to look for things like that, and you're going to want to ask the people in the grocery store stocking the shelves and ask them, hey, what part of the store is non-GMO? Like, I literally asked that one time. I remember like 10 years ago, I asked it in the grocery store. The guy looked at me and laughed in my face. My kids were with me. And he goes, well, the whole store, that one section right there is not. That was eye-opening for me. And so I challenge you to do that. I mean, we have natural grocers now. We have some of these other stores that we didn't have then. But it's important. It's a pain in the butt now to shop. It's a real pain in the butt. But then I think about it. As soon as I start to complain, I start to think about in Zimbabwe, they don't have places to shop. So then I just quickly get over it, because at least we have some alternatives. We have some places to shop. So there's where your war starts. Nutritional deficiencies and chronic disease. We know that cancer, there's 1/3 of all cancers, preventable cancers, are nutritional based prevention. So that means we can actually prevent 1/3 of cancers out there just by making sure that we're getting the right nutrients, watching what we eat, okay? So that's kind of, to me, I think that's a bit encouraging, because at least we don't have to feel like something landed on us and attacked us. We can actually feel like we're empowered, and we can make some decisions to help us, help ourselves, and help our friends. Even for people who are somewhere down the line that are really suffering, it can definitely help extend the comfort in life for people, right, who are suffering and dealing with chronic diseases. Diabetes, another disease that's totally lifestyle preventable. Like, we had 1 year in our office a few years ago, 20 cases of diabetes completely resolved. 20. Now, diabetes is usually not one of those things that people hear people overcome and they get over. But in our office, because we just, turn them back to the way God made them and the way they were designed, and we point them to the 5 essentials, people actually can heal and overcome things like diabetes and things like that. So this is the kind of stuff that we're seeing. Nutritional content in your food. What is essential? Here's what you need to know about the 6 essential nutrients. So what is essential? The important thing about what's essential is these are things that your body won't make it, okay? You will make some enzymes in your body if you're given the right nutrients. You can make some enzymes for your body to go through the digestive process. But there are essential things that you can only get from the diet. And it's super critical that we're aware of that, because those are things that without it can set us down the road of a disease that we don't even know that we've got or how we got it in the first place. So we think about essential nutrients. We'll hit on macronutrients. So macro and micronutrients. Macro is just a fancy word for proteins, carbs, right, and fats. That's just a fancy word. Macro, the large molecules, okay? We have to have those in a percentage. Now, if you're following, does everybody know what advanced plan is here? Okay. Does everybody know what core plan is here? Okay. If you're following what we call the healing diet, because you're trying to overcome something, you're trying to heal your body so you can get off of certain medications, things like that, and you're working with your doctor on that, then what you want to follow is what we call the advanced plan. When we think about the advanced plan, the macronutrients percentage that we want to be getting is we want to be getting about 65% of our diet from good fats. Good fats. Macronutrients. And then we want to have 25% of our diet proteins. That leaves us with a whopping 10 for carbs. The carbs that we want to consume are carbs on the advanced plan that are actually low sugar carbs. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but we're talking about no grains, because grains are high sugar, berries, Granny Smith apples, grapefruits. Those are going to be your low carbs. And your vegetables are really all veggies, except for there's 3 veggies that are higher in carbs. So you want to stay away from potatoes, all kinds, and carrots, and anybody else know what else? Corn, yeah. Beets are in there as well too, but I don't fixate on that. I don't really see people eating a lot of beets compared to corn and, you know, carrots. Typically is corn is the big one. Potatoes, like that's our big one. That's your macronutrients. If you're going to follow something like the core plan, then you're just going to bump it down a little bit. So it might be 55, 35, 15 to 20 as far as fat, protein, and carbs. Okay, so that's macronutrients. Micronutrients, and the backside you'll see are really like your vitamins, your minerals, and even water. Isn't that wild? Water's on there. Micronutrients. Does anybody know how much water you should have a day? Half your body weight in ounces. Half your body weight in ounces. So if you're smaller, you know, if you weigh 100 pounds, 50 ounces. If you weigh 300 pounds, 150 ounces, right? It's literally based upon how much body mass you have to perfuse. So very important. Also, when you get into water, water is not water is not water is not water, okay? So when you're getting into water, you could be, if you're using reverse osmosis, which a lot of us do because we're trying to clean it, we could be depleting ourselves from minerals. So if you're using reverse osmosis, you're going to find that you're going to need to support with minerals, okay? Magnesium, just a good complete mineral complex is good whenever you're using something like reverse osmosis, because again, water is not water is not water. Like, you know, and we're really trying to take the drugs out of our water. We're trying to take the things that are, you know, because when we take drugs and we pee, the drugs from our urine goes in the water. They filter that. They can't take the drugs out. So try to get systems to try to clean that out so that you're not taking someone else's blood pressure medication, right?
What about like the brittle, you know, the brittle?
Yeah, that's a good first step. Like that's what I would do. Like my son's in college, so I sent him off with a Brita because he's in a, you know, college apartment. You can't make changes to those. So yes, Brita would be a good first step for sure.
Because that uses the charcoal, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can. Yeah, that's a good first step with your water for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, I love this. Okay, so this is really cool. Have you guys ever? I'm going to post this article. Have you guys ever seen the article about the 10 foods that look like body parts that are good for? I'll post this article. Rebecca, if you can write this down for Brenna to post for Herb Family Friends. If you guys are not on Facebook, Herb Family Friends, it's a private only, patients only network where we literally just give stuff to you guys and keep you guys engaged with the 5 essentials. I did a little video today on, you know, recording your habits and trying to get yourself to kind of get some habitual routines going. Put that in there. I did one on intermittent fasting a little bit ago. I think Brenda just posted my article on that. This is such a fun article. So 10 foods that look like body parts that they're good for. So if you cut a carrot and kind of cross through and you look at it, what does it look like? It looks like your retina. That's why carrots they vibrate at a frequency that are really good for your retina. It's super fun. The next one is walnuts. My daughter loves walnuts. I bring them in a snack when I pick her up from school. And walnuts, what do walnuts look like? They look like the lobes of a brain. That is the coolest thing. Like, isn't God awesome? I just think, man, he's just awesome, what he did, right? They look like the lobes of a brain. So if you know people are having problems with their memory or maybe concerned about Alzheimer's or just things like that, walnuts are great for that, okay? What do celery look like? Bones. There's a really cool thing going on right now. I see a lot of people doing this. They're doing juice cleanses with celery juice. A lot of people are doing it first thing in the morning, which I love that. Wake up in the morning and do celery juice. But what's important about the type of celery that you buy? Organic, non-GMO. Make sure that you wash it good because you don't want to put a bunch of chemicals in your body when you're trying to heal your bones, right? So bones, really, really good for bones. What do your bones do? What's the function of the bones? What do they do inside? But what else? Keep going. Give me a little more deeper. Bone marrow for blood and immune system. So again, if there's an immune system challenge, you know, blood challenge, Celery juice is fantastic for that. What about avocados? What organ do they look like? Yes, they do. He's like, uterus? Should I say it? Should I say it? Yes, look at that. How pretty. I don't have one birth or uterus, but I have 2 daughters. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So menstrual cycle issues, right? You know, little menstrual cramps, or what are some of the disorders, female disorders that people have? Say it again. Yep, polycystic ovarian. And then what else? What are some other female-related diagnoses? Endometriosis, right? So avocados would be great for people concerned about that kind of stuff, right? Or maybe have a family history of that. What are clams good for? What do they look like? Kevin, come on. They look like testicles.
Oh my gosh.
So, right, exactly. So if there's a problem with testosterone, right, or there's a problem with male fertility, right, testicles, like that's awesome. Clams. What do grapefruit, I just showed you, kind of cheated on that one. What do grapefruit look like?
When you cut it open.
Yeah. Breasts.
Oh,
Isn't that the coolest? Like you cut it in half and you can see the glands. How cool is that? So, in fact, that's probably a better picture. Look at that.
Did you make copies of that?
I'm going to post the article on Herb Family Friends. It's awesome. But I'll give you the link then. Well, yeah. And then tomatoes. You cut a tomato in half. What does it look like? The heart, right? Right? It's so cool. Anybody having heart issues? Right? Heart, like tomatoes. Awesome. Put them in your salads. I'm going to promote this. Here we go. Red wine looks like blood.
Oh.
That's right. Now we have a lady. We're going to have a women wine and wellness. Sorry, guys. We're going to do something for the guys too. We're going to have women wine and wellness event in first weekend in May, and we'll have a lady here who does crafted, awesome wine that's no pesticide, none of the chemicals and stuff in there. Fantastic. So you guys can come and try some. Okay. What is ginger good for? Last 2. Ginger looks like what? Looks like your stomach. Looks like a stomach, right? Stomach. So stomach-related issues, heartburn, right? Anything related to the stomach. And then the last one is sweet potatoes. What does the sweet potato look like?
Liver.
Close. Pancreas.
Oh, wow.
Right? Super cool. I just think this is so cool how God made everything. Like he just gave us everything. He's like, guys, like I've given you everything you need. Like we just need the revelation. We need the understanding. We need to renew our minds and get the understanding about how to use these things, right? So what's the problem? We started, we kind of opened up with some of the problems. What's the problem? Low, poor nutrient content in the food. So the agricultural practices, we hit that, talking about how, they're growing the foods. The other thing that they started to do is they're trying to create a higher yield of food, and they started to inject and use carbon dioxide to create a higher yield, because then they can grow the farm much faster, right? And so what happens when you grow a farm or you grow food faster than it should be grown?
Skips part of the process.
It skips part of the process. And is the food as nutrient dense? It's not. If you do that over a lifetime, right, you can see over time how we're just literally diminishing our ability to be able to even get nutrients, even if we're maybe not necessarily doing something toxic, but we're going against how God set the system up to grow, right?
It loses its flavor also.
And that is another really good point. It loses its flavor also. If you ever eat an apple or an orange or anything, even an avocado, and you just bite into it and you're like, that tastes like nothing. You guys ever had that happen? It's like, it's interesting because one of the positive things about being in Zimbabwe is everything's organic. We use the word organic out there, and they just look at us like, we don't have money to make our cows toxic by feeding them GMO stuff. We can't afford the GMO. Cows graze on grass. That's what they do there. And so it's interesting because everything, like you get an avocado, and an avocado is like the size of your head, and it tastes like so, like it's just so full of flavor. And that's really what we're looking for. Like that's what we're doing. Our practices of trying to, again, there's a way that seems right to man, but in the end leads to death. Like we're really destroying our nutrients. Pollution, again, same thing. Cooking and preparation. Here's another big one. So cooking and preparation. We know that when we boil food, like when we boil vegetables, we lose about 40% or more, in some cases, nutrients. Okay? So that's why they say it's better to lightly steam them. So there's a bit of crisp in there, or to even eat them raw. Okay? So depending upon what your issue is, like if we're dealing with a digestion that we're trying to heal, we don't want to have to work so hard, so we might lightly steam. But the more raw stuff that you can get, where you actually have to chew it and get that enzymatic process to take place in your mouth first, then hit through the digestive tract where your body actually has to use its enzymes to digest it, the more you're going to pull the nutrients out of it. So just watching, that's why, have you guys ever tried Salad Master pots and pans? One of the things they teach in the class is, and these are non-toxic pans, and what they teach in the class is about, not to soak things in water and boil them and kill them, because it does takes the nutrients out of it. So that's one of the things. The other thing is grilling. Yikes, sorry guys. Grilling food, I know, I saw the little frowny face. Grilling food really does leach and kill the nutrients as well. And so we want to be careful and selective that that's not how we eat all of our meals, because it does put toxic chemicals in the food as well. So we just want to watch that. I'm not trying to poo-poo on your barbecue parade, but I am just trying to let you know that, if you're dealing with a diagnosis of some kind, more that you can get in that's raw, and don't barbecue and kill all the nutrients and then boil things off, the better that you're going to be able to absorb those nutrients, and it'll be better for you. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk to you about microwaves. So microwaving, who knows this about microwaves? Anybody? Rebecca's raising her hand. My husband is such a stickler. I do have a microwave in my house. What do I use it for? Anybody know? Heating up, nope, not water, heating up my hot pack. That's it. Because I don't want to, whenever you put stuff in the microwave, it vibrates at a frequency, it kills the whatever that's in there, and it makes it where it's not even nutritious anymore. So sorry to tell you that, but it is something that you want to, if you're a person that's used to quickly heating things in the microwave, I would really encourage you to just turn your oven on and start throwing things in your oven to heat things up rather than the microwave. You'll notice it won't kill the food. Toaster ovens are good too. Like I have a toaster oven here for the staff. Those are also good, rather than throwing them in the microwave. They did a study on somebody in a hospital thought it would be really wise to take someone's blood. They were trying to do one of those transfusions, and they threw the blood in the microwave because it was freezing or something, and to heat it up to get it at the temperature. Well, anyway, it got to cooling, and they put the blood and did the transfusion, and the person died. And they died, why? Because when they put it in the microwave, it now no longer is blood. They killed it. It was no longer useful for life. So think about what happens when we put things in the microwave. Sorry, bearer the bad news today. But anyway, that's something you want to get in the habit of. In fact, I would just encourage everybody to use your oven or get one of those. Did I just lose my PowerPoint? Get the toaster oven. That's going to be another really good one. Okay.
Is there a certain toaster oven?
Costco, no, I don't think there's anything that you can do wrong with a toaster oven at this point. You could burn your house down. Yeah, you could. Don't do that. But yeah, I think you'll be fine with any of them. Like I just got that one from Costco, so I think you should be fine. Just any toaster oven. Just turn the temperature on and yes, another question?
Yeah, what are the non-toxic pans?
Salad Master, ask me about it later. I want to connect you with a later if you're interested. She'll come to your house and she'll cook for you, show you how to use the pans, and she'll test your pans. I had her test my pans, and I thought I had like the best pans, and I was like attitudinal for about a year with her because I was like, no, my pans are fine. Please stop bothering me. I don't want you to come over. No, like I did that whole thing. And then finally I let her do it, which was years ago. I'm grateful that I did because when I tested my ceramic, my stainless steel, my, what's the heavy one? Cast iron, I tested them all. Literally, I was like a know-it-all about my pans. I was like, whatever. Every one of my pans were toxic. And then I was remorseful and super upset because I had recommended these pans for my patients. So now I feel responsible that I did something that may have caused harm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels really awful about that. No. And if you have copper, that's another type of pan, right? Those copper pans have been known to be linked to Alzheimer's. So because the copper gets into whatever the food is, and those are some of the stuff that gets trapped in the brain. So put that on your to-do list to going back to the water system. That's another good action step, but also the pans that you cook with. Because whenever you heat that stuff up, well, no, you're doing it. You're doing the Brita jug. We just talking about action steps right now. So you're doing your water, you're doing that. But eventually you'll want to, if you're going to stay in the home that you're in, you'll want to invest in a whole system for your home. You know what I mean? If it's your home that you're going to stay in, put that on your wish list and your to-do list to save up for. Do the same thing with these pans. Check your pans, get them tested, and we're going to have them, I think we're going to have them at the Women, Wine, and Wellness event, right? So you'll get to there. Come to the event, you'll get to try some of the food. Yes, ma'am.
What are these Salad Master pans made of? If they're
Tight, same stuff they do hip replacements. Titanium. No, not surgical stainless, it's titanium. It's a certain exact number of titanium. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like the Boeing airplane.
Good stuff.
Okay, I live in an apartment, and that's why I have my griddle.
Yep, Brita. So
My
if you're,
Brita, yeah, but so, what about showering?
yep, same thing. So what I say, if you're going to stay in that apartment for like a year, like you've got a year lease on there, I recommend getting one of those shower filters that you put on your shower head and then put a little filter on your sink if you're going to be there for a little bit, like that's kind of your apartment.
Yeah.
It would be worth it to invest a couple $100 in that because then, you don't want to shower and get all the, we're going to hit some of the toxic stuff, but the chlorine, the hot water dilates blood vessels. And if you dilate a blood vessel, and it would be like you just taking chlorine and pouring it straight into your brain. You don't want to do that. So that's why getting a shower filter, Costco, Amazon, you can find some stuff like that for sure. Yeah. All right, did I depress everybody with your microwave? Can you put bad food? You know what? You can put McDonald's and Whataburger in there all day long. In-N-Out Burger, all that other kind of stuff. Yep, because it all sucks anyway. It's all bad. Yeah. Okay, couple things. So you guys saw Shannon's display that she did here. We started out with 21 oranges, and then we don't know where the 21 went. But Shannon is so creative. She put this together here, talking about how in orange in the 50s was packed so full of nutrients that when you eat it, you almost kind of feel satisfied, right? And not only that, but you get your nutrients, right? Now it takes 21 oranges to get the same nutrients that it did in the 50s. Like, think about that. Like, no one is going to eat 21 oranges. Maybe my daughter would, but no one is going to eat 21 oranges.
It's the same in Florida or California
Everywhere.
or Texas.
Worse, because they spray their crops everywhere. Well, in Europe and other places, I don't know how it is I know America's the worst. Europe doesn't have GMO, or they label it. So my folks that travel to Europe, that are patients that travel back and forth, they can get good stuff, you know. I don't know what Asia is like, if it's picky there too. So, you know, we need to learn something from these people, right? But you can see here in the 50s, iron, 4.3 milligrams in one apple, and 0.18 milligrams in how many apples there? Like an apple now, right? In now. I mean, 1998. So 2000, that's 20 years even from now, 21. That means like there's just no iron. There's just nothing in there. So you literally are eating foods now that are giving you no nutrients at all. Like, I'm giving you terrible news right now, but I'm just giving you the reality. If you're trying to grow a baby in your belly right now, and there are certain foods, like nutrients that you have to get, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna, like, that's why getting the right supplements and the right, like, it's gonna be critical, you know, for you to be able to grow a baby. If you're nursing right now, same thing. Like, you're feeding a child, same exact thing. Like, you've got to have the right nutrients to be able to give a child. And then if it's just us, like, we're just trying to, like, you know, live healthy and functional. So 1998, 0.18. We got a lot of patients that are anemic, right? This is anemia. So anemia is a huge deal. What are some symptoms that you have when you have anemia?
Tired, listless,
Oh, God, I just can't even carry this body around, right? So it's critical for function, right? Now, here's a couple little samples we put on there. The orange, we said 21. The apple, 100 apples for vitamin C now. 100. It's ridiculous. We used to say an apple a day, what?
keeps the doctor away.
That's kind of like it was kind of like a really great saying, right? An apple a day was really kind of encouraging kids to eat their apples, eat their fruits, eat their vegetables, right?
So now it's 200 apples.
So now it's 200 apples, right? And then the amount of iron, like a steak, now we've like cut iron in half. The same thing with the amount of copper in tomatoes, same exact thing. Now these are actually organic things. I'm not even talking about stuff that's like non-GMO and like has no nutrient value. So that's another ballgame, because really there's no nutrient value in organic, like in GMO, genetically modified organisms. It's just stuff that triggers disease.
I'm from California, and we had a lady friend just out of Chico that had a little orange orchard.
Yeah.
But she had the, what are they called, pink lady oranges?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not lying to you. I bought one the other day. I cut it open and it was pink instead of red. But you got one of her oranges and you sliced it and it was the color of your wall. And sweet, the pink ladies.
Mm-hmm. That's very similar to if you guys do this experiment, buy regular cheapo eggs and then buy an organic egg. When you crack open the yolk and put it in the bowl before you're about to make, you know, scrambled eggs, you'll see the yolk is quite yellow, quite orangey, right? And exactly. And the yolk in cheapo eggs is
Pale yellow.
quite a bit gross, right? It's just, yeah. That's just very telling, right? I'm going to go back for just a second on the,
So the,
yes.
the labels are not required to say that the GMO. That's why they say non-GMO is what they're saying.
Yeah, so let me hit that for a second. In the United States, they are not required, food manufacturers are not, farmers are not required to put the label non-GMO or GMO, genetically modified. I did notice that on a bag of Doritos that it had very bottom one liner said genetically modified ingredients. I didn't notice it on that. Sorry, you Dorito lovers. Just killed your Doritos. I did notice that. what we're seeing is that some of the good companies that want our business, because we pay for what we value, companies that value us, they'll start putting those labels on there, and they have to prove it, very strict standards. If they put non-GMO, that stamp on there, or they put certified organic, those two stamps mean you're looking at a good product. But you can use the word organic, and it's not organic. You have to look for the word certified organic. And I know, again, that's the war. This is the war that we're in. Y'all lived where for how long? No, but where? Brazil. You're in America. It's messed up with, this particular aspect. It's really, it's a real, it's very upsetting. Yeah, very upsetting. Let me just, one more thing. So be careful. Look for certified organic and look for the non-GMO project stamp. Those are the two stamps. That's going to be the thing that's going to keep you in good standing as far as that. I like to shop at natural grocers because everything there is non-GMO. You're good at natural grocers. The store touts the non-GMO thing. So I know if I buy fruits, vegetables, and any meat there, we're in good shape. Dairy, we're in good shape there, okay? Sprouts, you're going to shop there and you're going to have to pay attention because not everything is, as we want it to be. Costco is starting to kind of raise their level. From what I just saw maybe a month or so ago, they have decided that they are going to be all non-GMO. Now the proof's in the pudding, so we have to watch, but I do like that's the direction that they posted, that they're going to do that. So Costco is moving in a good direction. I think there's another shop that does non-GMO. Anybody know the other name of it?
Trader Joe's? It's all Trader Joe's.
Aldi.
items.
Aldi.
Yeah.
A-L-D-I is another shop I think that is non-GMO.
Yeah.
A-L-D-I. But what were you about to say?
Trader
Trader
Joe's, which
Joe's
all
is
expensive.
not.
I think all their Trader Joe's labels are organic, but is it non-GMO? That's the question.
Okay, that's a good. And is it certified organic?
Because if it's certified organic, it's automatically non-GMO.
Yes.
By definition.
So if we see the word certified organic, then you're in good shape.
Which
Okay.
is the butterfly, right?
It's.
Butterfly.
I guess it does have a little. Does it have a little butterfly on it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll post that too, Rebecca. If you can just put that in, we'll post it in Herb Family Friends so people can recognize the stamp. We'll do that after this as well too. Yeah.
You might want
Wendy.
to make them be aware that the USDA just passed the new GMO labeling.
Let me see that. Oh, a different stamp. Okay.
And they're making it look like it's real friendly on purpose. And they're not calling it GMO.
Tricky lie.
They're calling it bioengineering.
That's terrible.
So you might want to make people aware of that.
Rebecca, do you see this? We need to post this stamp. This is what we need to pay careful
Just
of.
got passed last week.
This is the new friendly way of making genetically modified food look good.
Exactly, yes.
This is the war.
Avoid that label.
We do not want foods with this label.
Right.
Okay, this is so good. I love that you just shared that. Okay, so again, see a sunshine and a thing, and they're not going to show they really should put horns and the devil right there.
Right.
Right? Thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Right? Okay, so good. Anybody else have anything else they want to add, Bobby?
Yeah, a recent deal I read is, let's say you got your barn right here,
Yeah.
and you got all your chickens you're raising in there.
Yeah.
And you crack the door that much, and here's a fenced-in area that's got grass. It's now free-range chicken.
Yeah, I've heard that too, like they don't have a standard on the size that you have to have for your chickens. I have a lot of friends have
So if
chickens.
they can walk out between that crack of the door and then walk right back in,
Yeah.
even though the area may not be much bigger than
Okay,
this right here.
so basically what he's saying is you can use words to make people feel tricked about it not being organic. So when I say certified organic, don't get tricked by the word organic. It's not organic, okay? I caught this a long time ago when we would go to the farmer's market and I would say, is this organic? And then I would say, is it grass-fed? And they would say, yes, it's grass-fed. And I would say, do you feed your animals any grain ever? and they would get so irritated at me because I keep asking the question, and they would say, well, yes, it's grain finished. How do you think we get these cows to milk? That was their excuse. I can't milk these cows unless I'm feeding them grain, so it's, quote, grain finished. They can use the term grass-fed, but it's also grain finished. We don't want grain fed to our cows for any dairy or meat or anything.
Chicken feed.
You with me? You're kind of, are
That's
you glazing? Are you
organic.
okay? You good? Okay. Yeah? Chicken feed?
Chicken feed, that's organic.
Chicken feed.
A
Uh-huh.
rat, even a scratch feed, and it has bits of corn in it that says it's organic.
Yeah. The word organic is the tricky part. Yeah.
One other thing is, one of the highest content of fungus is in corn. And so if it's in a silo and a little rain gets in there and that gets like over 600 parts per million on the fungus, then not good for human consumption.
That
But
is
guess
really
who
good.
does consume it? They take it out to the feed yard, and guess where it goes? It goes right into the fat, that marbling that they want for taste. And you get all that fungus inside the marbling in the steaks.
That is really good. So he's saying, for everybody who didn't hear this on the microphone, he's saying the highest content of fungus is found in the corn. And what's interesting about that, of any vegetables, and what's interesting about that to me is I do this testing here, right? If you've never done this testing, this is called metabolics testing. So I can see how your nutrients are looking. Like if you think you're doing good, like test it. You'll know if you're doing good or not. And so it's a blood and urine test, and it tests for 54 different things. And what's so interesting is I see a lot of fungus. I think there's other reasons, but I like that piece of information also is helpful for me to be able to help patients to say, hey, make sure you're staying away from things that have corn in it, or animals who are fed corn, GMO corn, anything like that. That's good.
Here's another deal I found out recently, because I have a heart situation and I got to reading about a bunch of this stuff. Well, guess what the body does if you have a fungus in you? The way it attacks it is it makes cholesterol. So you can have a heart problem, you go get tested for your cholesterol, boom, you're way over here.
Yeah.
Well, I finally found a product. I've had this athlete's feet for 50 years. Found this product, used it, went it, and I got retested. Boom, they was wanting me to take Lipitor. It was right over here. I was right in the middle. The funny part was, the more I did research on Lipitor, guess what it originally was made to do? Kill fungus, but they couldn't patent it, so they had to add a bunch of bad stuff
Yeah.
that gives you bad side effects, so they could patent it.
So here's the thing about cholesterol. Cholesterol is awesome. It shows up as a Band-Aid. Why do I put it? Why do I put a Band-Aid on my thumb here? I cut myself cooking. Why would I put that on there?
Stop the bleeding.
Right? To protect it, right? Right? Cholesterol does the exact same thing. It acts as a Band-Aid when you encounter things that are coming against your nerve system. Cholesterol will show up because it's going to protect the nerve system at all costs. So that's a really important piece. Let's keep skating through here with the poor diet thing. So again, another one of the causes. Energy dense foods, what are, high sugar or damaged foods, processed fats. We're talking about all the fast food. This is the, quick fix, artificial sweeteners. This is another reason for some of the issues that we have. Our body and lifestyle. Yes, genes play a role. I mean, you're probably that your shape and size looks similar to someone in your family, right? So yes, genes play a role. But keep in mind that biological factors, lifestyle factors, like you look at biological factors. One of the things in the gene situation, Bruce Lipton talks about in his book, if you want to read an awesome book, Biology of Belief. It's a fantastic book. And what Bruce Lipton says is genes load the gun. So yes, I'm the certain shape and size and whatever, right, that everybody else is. So genes load that gun. But it's lifestyle that pulls the trigger. So yes, I may have inherited, a family history of, in my family, it's ruptured blood vessels, so aneurysms, right? lost a lot of family members from aneurysms, and that will never happen to me in Jesus' name. Like, it's not. But that's a thing that I inherited from my family, right? So those are the genes and kind of the biology piece. But lifestyle is what pulled the trigger. My family smoked and drank and cooked with lard and the vegetable oil under the sink. And, we didn't pay attention to a lot of the things that I pay attention to in my body now. We didn't test. We didn't do this type of testing to know, hey, how's my blood looking? We didn't do that kind of stuff. So now we have the ability, again, remember, if you have family history of a cancer or something like that, don't lose your peace. Take it as a bit of knowledge to understand that genes load the gun. When I say lifestyle, that means, are you managing your life the same way your family managed their life? Do you eat the same things? Are you taking the same meds because they were depressed, so I'm taking the same depression medication? They have blood pressure, so I'm taking the same blood pressure. Are you managing your life? Are you sedentary like they are? Do you guys follow me? So lifestyle is what pulls the trigger. You got to be careful. If you're going to express a disease that your family had, then you likely are expressing the same lifestyle. So you got to watch that. Do something totally different. That's why we teach about the 5 essentials in the office here. If you literally filter all your life decisions through the 5 essentials that we teach, you never have to express these diseases that are in your family. I.e., if you look at lifestyle factors, so smoking. My family, they all smoked. Everybody smoked in my family. Oh my gosh, you walk into any room, it was like a big old ashtray. You smelled it, it was in your hair, it was everywhere. Like, I can't stand it. I can't stand being around it. I have a huge pet peeve over the new fad on vaping right now. Like, I could lose my cool right now just talking about it because they're targeting our kids, y'all. Every corner that you look at has a vaping corner on it. What is the purpose of all these vaping stores? Well, they're ready for marijuana. They're ready. They're primed and ready. As soon as the state law says, bam, we can legalize marijuana, they're ready. Like, they're going to have it. I have a huge problem with this whole smoking thing. And what do we need a whole lot more of when we smoke? A lot of vitamin C. Because we're going to get a lot of wrinkles, a lot of joints, are torn down. We need a lot of vitamin C, a lot of antioxidants, like a huge antioxidant load. So I take a lot of vitamin C. But I also don't allow that stuff in my house anymore. I grew up in it. I love my family, but I'm not going to be around that. I'm grown up now. Same thing with a lot of alcohol. Everyone in my family drank. Like, it was like, if it's like a party, it's a party. Like, everybody is like, there's whiskey and beer and everything that you can imagine under the sun, and shots and whatever. Like, it's just, that's how I grew up. Now, I love red wine, and I'll have a drink here and there, and I'll even have a nice beer here and there. And there's actually the only beer that I know that's non-GMO. Anybody know? Heineken. Little 2 cents. I'm not pushing Heineken or anything, but it's non-GMO. Say it. Pinkus? Well, there you go, another one. I'm not pushing beer, but you get what I'm saying. So that was a lifestyle in my family. Like, I just chose to turn away from that type of, lifestyle. And so lifestyle factors can really trigger this stuff. Just make some different choices that your family, maybe you grew up with, that they made. Let's get into, does everybody know what the 5 essentials? I just want to see if everybody knows. These are the new icons. You can always go, we have little resources if you're not real sure what each one of those 5 essentials are. Like, that's what we're here for. But literally just look at each one of them and just kind of go like, what can I do for each one of these to get a little better? Okay. Maybe I'm not doing one at all. I just met with one of my patients today, and she's killing it on her nutrition. She lost, in first 30 days, she lost over 8 pounds. Well, 27 days. She made sure I knew it was 27. 8 pounds in 27 days. She hasn't exercised at all. So I said, great, you got the diet dialed in, let's start exercising. Like, look at what's going to happen next month. And she only needs to lose about 30 more pounds. And she's about 5 foot tall, so 30 pounds looks a little different on 5'8", than it does on 5 foot. But amazing, like, that progress. Look at those 5 essentials and just think about, like, what can I do? One step in each one of those areas to get a little bit better. That's really what I recommend for people. A little more on nutrition. Eating a varied diet. Some of you are creatures of habit, so you eat the same foods all the time. Depending upon which eating plan you're following, try to mix it up. Like when you open up your refrigerator, try to have some different colors in there. If you're following advanced plan, you can get a lot of colors. You know, like you can get a red pepper, a yellow pepper, you know, green pepper. Try to get different colors of things in there. If you're following the advanced plan, core plan, you can have all kinds of fruits and vegetables. But just try to eat varied. Don't eat the same foods. I had to get on my mom because she was literally eating chickens like every day. I'm like, no, Mom, no more chicken. You're not having, no. She's like, I live by myself. I'm like, no more chicken. Like, let's have, like, my mom's an awesome cook. Like, let's get some variety going on. So eat a varied diet. Optimize nutrient content of foods you eat. Making sure, again, fruits and vegetables full of nutrients, certified organic, non-GMO, make sure you're choosing that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to rat on the herb household right now for a second. You guys, are you good with that? I'll rat on this a little bit. So someone in my house went shopping. I won't say who it was because he will watch this later. Anyway, someone in my house, we had a big party. It was my son's 20th birthday. We celebrate spring break this week. And we had these things in my refrigerator. You guys recognize this? It's all about nutrition, decoding nutrition codes and labels. So what's interesting about this, we normally have Zevias when I have kids over my house. And I'm pretty sure there was GMO chips in my house because of a 20-year-old and all 15 kids came over. It's like Dr. Pepper. I think my house burned down. Dr. Pepper was in my house. I was like, my house is going to explode. Mom, it's my birthday. Okay. So we ended up with Zevias in the house for the rest of the kids, and we had this soda in the house. And they were really excited about this soda. And these kids came in from Tulsa, and they were like, this is awesome. This is so good. Like, they're just raving about this drink right here, right? And I was like, let me look at this. Okay, it says Virgil's Micro Brewed, 100% natural. It's got to be good. It's 100% natural, right? No preservatives. Again, it's got to be good. Low sodium and gluten-free. Forget it. Like, I'm buying it. Gluten-free. Right? Gluten-free. Then it says, using natural ingredients, we brew a black cherry cream soda so pure, so rich and creamy, you'll swear it's made in heaven.
It says that?
Mm-hmm.
Good marketing.
Really good marketing. I look at this and I'm like, mm-hmm. And so I told my Zine, I said, let's look on the back. Let's just look on the back together. Can we look on the back together? I said, can you read it for me? She's like, it contains, so always look at the other ingredients on there. Purified carbonated water, unbleached cane sugar, caramelized unrefined cane sugar, vanilla extract, black cherry flavor, natural flavors, gluten-free, GMO-free. So at least it's GMO-free. We got that one good thing going. So the top 3 ingredients were sugar, okay? Now when you look at this label, always look at where it says serving size, so 12 ounces. Is this 12 ounces? It's 12, so the serving size is the whole bottle, okay? And then look at how much sugar. It says total carbs are 42 grams and total sugar is 42 grams. So take the 42 grams and divide it by 4. That gives you how many teaspoons of soda. You guys with me? Take the grams and divide it by 4. That gives you how many teaspoons. Be careful that you look at the serving size, because sometimes it would be like 2 servings, right? So be careful because you might have 84 grams. So watch the serving size. Now what that means is about 11 teaspoons of GMO-free sugar is in this soda. 11. No wonder it tasted good.
And they get all wired.
There was like 12 of these sitting, and it looked like there was beer everywhere. You know, there was like 12 of these. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why are they drinking these like water? I mean, it's better than Dr. Pepper, I suppose. But this is the stuff you got to be careful of. Like these labels labels are tricky and they lie and really are effective. Someone that I know really well bought this, so they were really effective. Okay, you guys can rat on him later. It's funny. But just be careful. So looking at the labels, always pay attention to those things. Yeah.
I was thinking, I was reading somewhere with, used to when they first come out, like with Cokes, it might have had like 10 teaspoons of sugar in it, and now it's got like 40 or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then you look at the whole, right, the whole, what is it, the whole liter? Is it a 2 liter? Is that what it's? The, oh, it's been that long since I had that kind of stuff. Get it by the gallon. Okay. All right, the 2 eating plans, guys. We'll just hit the 2 eating plans. And core plan, this is where you have healthy fats, full fat dairy. Be careful when you go get yogurt that you don't get the fat-free or low fat, no fat, okay? It is a lie. It just means high sugar. And so when you go buy it, like, you're probably going to shake a little because you're so used to the low fat, no fat. But go for it. Full fat, because that's the good stuff, and it's going to fill you up. You'll need less yogurt if you do the full fat because you'll be full. If you get the low fat, you'll eat the whole container because it's just sugar. It doesn't have the macronutrients in it, okay? Naturally raised animals, we hit that pretty good. Whole grains and ancient grains. You can have whole grains and ancient grains on the core plan. You're on the core plan if you're not dealing with a diagnosis. If you don't have arthritis or you're not on a medication, you're on the core plan. That's healthy eating really for everybody. So
What's ancient grain?
what would be an ancient grain? Anybody? Quinoa. What else is an ancient grain? Ezekiel. Rye. Buckwheat. Anybody else? Anybody else? It's a bit of, yeah, I mean, it's in that family. Seeds and stuff, yeah. Okay, so good. So
Sprouted grains.
sprouted, yes, everything's sprouted. It's going to be really good. Yep, those are going to be the good things. Variety of fruits and vegetables. So really, again, the variety. Plant-based
Rye
carbs.
bread is good.
Yeah, so rye would be an ancient grain. We used to, when we were training for marathons, is we would take rye bread and stick it in our pocket, and as we get 5 miles down the road, we would take a few bites of the rye bread, and then we'd soak our almonds the night before so they were readily available to keep, because you're going a long way, so that helps give you the energy for longer. So yeah, again, core plan people, okay? Now if you're advanced plan, you're going to eat all the good stuff. You're just going to stay away from the grains, low sugar fruits and berries, and all veggies except for the high sugar ones, okay? Does everybody know whether they should follow the core or advanced plan here? Everybody know? If you're on a medication, which plan? If you have arthritis, which plan? If you have diabetes, which plan? If you've ever had cancer or have it, which plan? Okay, I think everybody's got it. Nutritional deficiencies. I'm going to give you guys something else. You're going to have a couple resources. I'll give you another. Rebecca, do I have? Good, yes. Just grab this. This is really good. Grab one of those and pass it around. It's got, do I have one here? Yeah, I'll give you that one. You can pass it around. Top 6 nutrient deficiencies, and then I'm going to get an MTHFR. Nutritional deficiencies. This would be just good looking at some of the signs of deficiency. So if you have muscle cramps, abnormal heart rhythms, I would like you to put those signs down under calcium and magnesium. What we're finding is more people show up in the emergency room with angina or heart-related things that are related to magnesium issues than anything else. So what I usually tell people is if they're having like heart palpitations or pain or chest pains or things like that, if you quickly are on the way to the ER and take some magnesium, it's happened a lot where they get there and everything's calm, okay? So just keep magnesium around, magnesium calm. We've got the liquid form of magnesium as well. This one here, liquid if you like the liquid, magnesium if it's the powder you can mix it. But this should be something everyone takes every day all the time, okay? You have to have it for detox pathways. You have to have it for all your enzymatic pathways is magnesium and that. Vitamin D, where do we get vitamin D from?
Sun.
Sun. People that are most deficient in that are going to be pregnant, lactating people, darker skin, older people. Iron, menstruating women. So if you have the heavier cycle, then you're going to need foods that have a lot of iron in them. Okay. So I always say people to eat liver. Oh gosh, I know you don't like the idea of that, but liver. When I started studying all this, did you guys grow up? Who grew up in their family fed them liver? Okay. Who was so happy when you grew up and didn't have to eat liver again, right? Most of us. My husband said I was so happy to move out I didn't have to have liver. But here's the thing. I'm talking to myself too, okay? I was mad at my mom when she told me I was eating venison, but I was really eating liver. I was mad. But guys, when I went through and studied about all the B vitamins, literally almost every B vitamin that you need comes from meat and especially liver. If you're on the vegan kind of, like, you're really deficient in B vitamins, you're going to be in trouble, big trouble. Okay, your nerve system's going to be in trouble, your metabolism, your energy cycles, everything's going to be in trouble. So, gosh, can we find a recipe, somebody that can make us love liver? Because we really need it. We do.
Your liver,
So
just soak
great
it in a little flour, put it in powdered milk.
Okay.
And then, or I'll soak it in a little milk.
Mhm.
And then when you're frying it, use the olive oil, and you add your onion.
Olive oil,
and
onion.
a couple of little pieces of jalapeno.
Oh, that might be a trick to taste the jalapeno instead.
No, not a whole one, but
Right? Didn't we have liver growing up? Like, our parents knew, and so we're getting away from the things that we knew. It was the cheap meat.
Buy grass-fed liver.
The farmers markets, you can get them. Almost every farmers market will have liver. Yep. If there's an anemia issue, liver.
deer,
Liver.
fishes,
Yep.
fish a lot.
So folate, same thing. Pregnant, lactating women, gastrointestinal diseases, signs of deficiency you can kind of see there. And again, we hit magnesium as well. So these are just good things to kind of take home, have for little signs of deficiency. Who knows what MTHFR is? Anybody? I'm not going to spend any time on it if we don't really know what it's a disorder that's becoming super popular. Almost seems like a third of my patients are saying they have it now. And it's really a defect in a gene process. The gene and the enzyme, it's the defect in how the folic acid transfers to methylfolate. It's a whole biochemical thing that happens. What I'm discovering is that people with MTHFR issues have real difficulty detoxing, and they can't make serotonin. They can't make a lot of the things that are real critical, the neurotransmitters. And here's what I'm finding. What we think is more of a B2 deficiency is what triggers that gene. And again, that's where we get from liver and stuff like that. So again, it goes back to I was like, oh, Mom, organ meats, okay, here we go. But we got to figure out how to learn to love this stuff because our grandparents knew something we didn't. We were B2 deficient. And when we're B2, we're riboflavin deficient, we're creating a lot of these genes to be, again, what did I say? Genes load the gun, what? Lifestyle pulls the trigger. Suddenly, genes load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger, lifestyle meaning I'm not eating organ meat anymore because I'm so glad I don't live at home. I stop eating that, but that's important apparently. And so now I'm expressing and turning a gene on that's in the gun. Because, you guys with me?
Yeah.
Dang, we're doing this, and we don't know. So, again, we've got to get back to that. I won't spend a lot of time on that. Yeah?
Well, you know what I was told, I like taking a lot of minerals and vitamins. I had a doctor that told me that to help me with my diabetes, because I didn't want to take the diabetes medicine all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that, she goes, well, Sylvia, 5 red rice yeast.
Yeah.
She
Yep.
said that is good for
Yeah.
diabetes.
Yep.
So that I didn't
Okay.
know that vitamin.
So, but I would challenge you that it's more so all the carbs that you're eating that's causing the diabetes. You're not going to fix it with one thing.
Yeah.
You're going to fix it with the whole, you with me? So yeah, those are good things. I want to mention also coffee drinkers. When we go back to the nutritional deficiencies, the mineral, coffee and tea drinkers, you leach magnesium when you're a coffee and a tea drinker. So if you take a couple days and you don't drink tea or coffee, you'll notice you don't have leg cramps and restless legs and hard time going to sleep at night. You might get a terrible headache. Yes, you're right. But you'll have to, if you're a coffee drinker, like our Colombian back here, like she's like, nobody knows how to drink coffee like this Colombian Dr. Gisette back here.
She brings it in on a mule.
She gets super excited about her coffee. But think about it, like it's like you leach minerals. So we've got to watch it.
So coffee.
If you're a coffee, minerals, magnesium especially. Yep. So if you've got the itchy, restless legs, like twitchy, like you can't sleep at night, you got to get your magnesium calm out and take a shot of it before you go to bed. Okay? So that your spouse can sleep because you're irritating them by keeping them up all night. Okay? Another just a little quality, little thing to kind of put in there. Quality and pure supplements. Super important. Our guy that tests all of our stuff from VitaCost, have you ever heard of that company, VitaCost? Well, our guy is Dr. Vita. He's the owner of that whole organization. He actually tests all of our stuff. So you want to make sure if you're buying vitamins that you're getting vitamins from a place that you know they test and they know the potency and the strength of the vitamin. What he shared with us, we spent several days with him. And what he shared with us, because he tested every company that makes vitamins and homeopathics and nutrients, he tests them all. He's got a lab that's a pharmaceutical lab. Like it's like you got to wear a hazmat suit to go in there. You literally have to be all done up. You cannot walk into the back of the lab. He tests every company out there. And what he said was the stuff that you're buying that's in these stores, it's the cheap stuff. There's no potency to them. He gave us an example. He said, turmeric is quite popular, right? He said, turmeric that you buy in the regular stores out there, you would have to take an entire bottle of turmeric for one capsule of our daily defense. That was an eye-opener to me. Because my mom's, I'm like, no, Mom, you're not buying from GNC. So I'm trying to make sure my mom's making good choices too. She's 80 and she's like running circles around everybody else because she takes such good care of herself. But nutrients, super important. Making sure you're getting supplements that have the potency, that have the testing standards. They're not made in China and they're not made in someone's garage. Literally, this is the case because most companies, vitamins have no standards. They are not required to test them. Our company, we source the stuff that we make our goods from. We don't buy stuff from China. We source it from places that have no GMO, no artificial sweeteners are not even allowed in the building where we make our stuff. They don't allow that stuff in the building. No GMO, they don't allow that stuff. So you want to make sure they source the good stuff from places that is packed full of the good stuff, the nutrients, and not trying to leach and bleed it out just so they can sell a product on the shelf, right? So making sure that they test that, again, the best standards, GMP certified facility, they have all the best standards out there. So that's really important when you're buying sources of vitamins. I'll just tell you about ours.
Is there a comparative? Is there a way to check how these different brands come?
So I'll give you an example. This company, does anybody have a favorite company heard that was really, really awesome at one time and they would buy only this one company? Does anybody have that? Who? She said it, Rebecca.
Who? What?
She said it. So, Garden of Life. She said it, I didn't. No, Bayer owns that company now too. Sorry. They own what else? Monsanto. Catch me? It is a sin. Now, I will say the man who started the company is no longer part of the company. He's taken a lot of flack for that because he sold the company and then went and opened Beyond Organic. I hate that for him. But the company changed over 4 or 5 different times to different manufacturers. So here's what you got to watch out for. This is just a good lesson for all of us right now. Again, this is part of the war. You might find a good brand that you love, and they get sold out to a company like McDonald's or Bayer or da-da-da, and they have the brand, but you look at the back, and it's not the same quality of ingredients. So you can't buy products from that company ever again, ever. Ever. Okay? I think there were a couple other companies out there like Tom's Toothpaste and things like that. I went into the store. It used to be a brand I loved. I went into the store and I was like, hey, why is there, I forget what the ingredient was in it. It was aluminum. I think it was deodorant. I was looking at the deodorant. I was like, wait a minute. What's going on? I was in the store and I was like, this has aluminum in it. Well, it's sold over. So you get companies that are really smart that know how to do this stuff, right? They're smart, and they want a corner market. Like if you're McDonald's and you have the corner market in crap food, but you kind of want to make sure you're making money over here in these other markets that are, quote, organic, you buy a company, you switch it over, you change the manufacturer, make it cheaper, but you have the brand. You guys with me? So you got to watch it. So that's why we try to keep you guys informed all the time of what we know, and if you know, tell us. Like what Wendy just shared with us was invaluable, right? Same thing with the word aspartame is now a new name. We know aspartame to be bad, artificial sweetener, but now it's called something sweet. It's not NutraSweet, it's called something else. They changed the name. It's got a new brand name. Will you write that down so we can look that up too, Rebecca?
The man that started,
You're talking about Jordan Rubin. He started Garden of Life. Yeah, he doesn't own that company anymore.
does he have another company now? Does he have another
he-
company?
He is doing, what was his company's name? He sold that and he did Beyond Organic. And then he sold Beyond Organic to Longevity. So now he doesn't have a...
What about Good Earth?
Ancient Nutritions is another company, but their products, like a bone broth, if you see the bone broth, like we started our bone broth product because Ancient Nutritions is not non-GMO certified organic. Amino sweet, Wendy. So Ancient Nutritions is one we thought we could trust. Max Living created their own bone broth because it's certified organic, non-GMO. It's all healthy because the bone broth that we were buying and we didn't know is not. So just ask me if you don't know. If you find out, tell me so we can share it. That's what Herb Family Friends is for, okay? I'm making everybody depressed.
I've been doing your detox
Yeah,
program
yeah.
in the morning and the evening,
This one.
but there are some things that I'm still eating.
It's okay.
The same at home. Is that going to show up when you test me?
You are so precious.
Well, I just want to know if I can.
You're,
I only got a week left.
you're not gonna figure it out. I'll just tell you that I've been on this detox system product for about 14 years.
Oh, so you're taking.
I take it every day because I always get myself, I breathe stuff in and whatever. I don't eat bad, but I do get exposed to things. I can go into the grocery store and I'm like, I can smell the chemicals in there. So I just always stay on it just for me. That's what I do. So I love that you're wanting to be really good though. I love that. I love that. So good.
I want a good pat on the back.
Yes, atta girl. One of the things with the men's and the women's multivitamin and mineral product, they are actually switching it to MTHFR. So if you're keep your eye on that, like all of our new stuff is going to be where if you are sensitive MTHFR gene, like we said, you can take that one and you're safe, you're good. Because there's just a problem with the conversion rate. So keep in mind that. But multivitamin mineral, that's a baseline. Everyone should get. You all know why now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I always say in my class to do this. B complex with delayed release. Again, phenomenal product. When I tested myself, I did this urine test here. And no, it's a blood spot. When I tested myself, I to date, in the last 5 years, am the most B deficient person that I've ever tested. Me. You think that I'm perfect, probably, right? I'm not. I do eat good and I do exercise good, but whatever it is in my makeup and my body, I burn through B vitamins like crazy. And so how it would show up for me is seasonal affect disorder. What is that? When the sun goes away and you're just like, oh, I'm so tired, right? Give me a Reese's peanut butter cup.
That's wrong.
Why would I want a Reese's peanut butter cup? Like, why would I want a Reese's peanut butter cup? What am I trying to do? Give myself some energy, right? But really what I was B vitamin deficient. So I actually had to take 6 capsules a day. And you would think that it would make me stay awake, like I couldn't sleep. Nope, slept like a baby. I just burned through them. When I retested, I still need to make sure I stay on 3 every day. That's really high. None of my patients tested like that. That's why this test is so important, because you don't guess. You test. You know exactly what you need when you test.
So you have a urine one and a blood?
Yes, you test them both,
Okay.
because then we know what we need. Okay?
And don't we do it there?
And you do them at home. So that test right there, you take it to your house, you collect your urine sample, and you collect your blood sample. It's a little finger prick. And you let the one dry and freeze the one, and then you ship it off. Rebecca sees when the tests get to the lab, when they process, when they're released, and then she calls you to schedule for you to be able to go over your results. But I tell you, it's been one of the best things. My daughter, my 9-year-old, when she was 3, had a cancer marker that was in there. And because there's a cancer marker in there. And she's the one that ate the best. Like, she's my one kid I didn't break. Right? I mean, each kid you get a little better, right? For those of you who have more than one kid, you know what I mean. She didn't have sugar until she was 4, so I thought, yes, her test's going to be perfect. She's not going to need anything. She got the cancer marker and a toxicity marker. And none of my other kids had that. We tested all on the same day. It was a fun morning. Finger prick and all. All of us together. But what we learned from that, what she needed, and I've since retested her, cancer marker's gone, toxicity marker's gone, because she, at that point, learned how to take this. 3. At 3 years old, she learned how to take this. Because you don't guess, you test. Even with the healthiest person that you think that's never had sugar, you test.
So do I wait till I finish the last week before
No,
I
you
test,
don't.
or I can
No,
now?
you can test anytime. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's no worries about that. Okay, so B complex, we hit that. I hit myself. Yes. So the cancer marker, where Zanae got the cancer marker from, was she was actually sleeping on, in preschool where they sleep on mats
Those little
in the
mats,
classroom.
yeah.
Well, they would spray that room, with the long pipe that has the spray, and they wear the mask and stuff. They spray that room for pesticides because they didn't want the kids to get bugs, but then instead the kids were getting cancer risk.
Wow.
I'd rather them have a bug, right? There's other ways you can kill those bugs that don't hurt you and kill you. So anyway, that was how she got it. So I got her out of the school, did the detox, and she's never had it since. I just tested her recently again, and she's 9 and nothing. So, yay. Because she's been on detox, like she's 9, she's been on that detox product since she was 3. She's never gone off, Sylvia, never gone off.
Wow.
Yeah. My son's in college, and that's the one thing that he makes sure he
I
doesn't
have
ever
a
forget.
great-grandchild, and her asthma attacks are really bad.
Yeah.
So maybe she should do one of those.
That, and
detox-
she needs to get checked and get her spine checked too. Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'll let my granddaughter know.
Is this helpful? Are you guys getting something out of this?
I'm loving it.
Okay.
Omega, please. Are you?
Okay, the omegas.
Yeah.
Where do we get omegas from? What foods?
Shellfish.
Fish, seeds, right? So this test tests for your omega ratio, but you want to make sure that you're getting 3s and 6s and you're not getting the trans fats. So trans fats, where do we get trans fats from? Bad fats, fast food. Like, let's just packaged food, stuff you throw in the microwave, you killed it when you threw it in the microwave, vegetable oil, frying stuff in vegetable, you're going to get trans fats from that. But you can still have a risk by not having enough omega-3s because your body is made up of fat, your brain is made up of fat, your cell membranes is made up of fat. So you can still have a super high risk. Cognitively, you can't think straight when your omegas get too low. So you want to make sure you have a good ratio. That's why the optimal omega. Going back to the whole feeding animals, the corn, we are what they eat. So if we're eating foods and we know the meat is not getting, the animal is not being fed the right stuff, that means it's going to throw off our ratios, which is then going to throw off our inflammatory pathways, and it's going to set us up for arthritis and disease and things like that, okay? So optimal omega is very important. You take those with food, okay? It'll balance your ratio of 3s and 6s, okay?
Oh, so if you don't have it with food, it's not,
You can just take it with food just so you absorb it.
oh,
Yeah.
so it absorbs better with food.
Well, you might feel better if you eat it with food. Like vitamin B, our B, if you take it and you don't eat food, you have stomachache. I learned that the hard way. Can't be in a hurry when you're taking your B vitamins.
I wanted to ask a question before you got to omega-3 about the detox.
Yes, ma'am.
When you forget to take the body detox at night,
Yeah.
now what do you do then? I forgot what you said.
Okay. So she said this detox, there's 2 bottles in here, okay? One cleans the cell, one takes the toxin out of the body. This one, Rebecca, can you swipe that? Sorry. This one cleans the cells. So in the morning, 30 minutes before you eat, you take this one. Before bed, you take this one. If you're pregnant, you can't have it. And if you're nursing, you can't have it. I'm sorry. Wait till after.
I'm taking that at night with my calm.
But it's fine. That's fine.
Is that
But
okay?
because there's magnesium in it, so that's fine.
Does it
But
have to be
the
30
key
minutes,
is,
or what if it's an hour? Does it
could be an
go
hour, just as
straight?
long as it's 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just as long as it is. But the key is at night, if you fall asleep watching TV and you wait, you're like, oh no, I forgot to take this. Then you didn't clear it from the body. So the next morning, you got to do this first. Then before lunch, you do this one. Just bump it.
And you can't take the body detox within 2 hours of taking it.
And if you're on medications, it'll see it as a toxin. So the instructions on the bottle say 2 hours away from medication. Because medication is a toxin. It will pull it out, okay? That was valuable. Okay, good. Okay. Yay, you don't need to take your medicine. Look at her. Magnesium.
$100 off that one.
Several versions of magnesium. Magnesium that Max Living has is liquid. If you is like a spoon, like you can take a spoonful of it and take it. If you want add water, more like you can drink it, then that would be the magnesium calm. Both of them are essential. Again, remember I said that restless legs, the cramps, and all that stuff. That's really important. Vitamin C, 2 capsules of that every day. Immune system, again, if you're on smoke, things like that. But skin, aging, wrinkles, that kind of stuff. Your immune system, that kind of stuff for vitamin C. That's the daily essentials bundle, and that one's the support bundle. We hit detox. The greens in the grass-fed whey protein in the daily defense, that was I was saying about the daily defense, that's the turmeric, okay? And the greens, if you know you're not getting enough vegetables, because we just talked about that, like that's what that product is for. Just make sure if you're not buying it from here that you get sources that are good, because otherwise you're wasting your money. Just don't do that, okay? Or you're hurting yourself, more important. Like that's important.
So what's the difference between the two?
One is a vegetable and one is a protein,
Oh, okay.
okay? And you can mix them together in like a smoothie and take them, like have a meal. You can do that, yeah.
Can you put them on your food? Like,
No, you won't want to do that.
okay.
No, you'll want to put either water or almond milk, unsweetened, or coconut milk.
Yeah.
You know, you want to put all that in there and mix it with ice cubes or like berries or something, yeah. We know about exercise. I mean, one thing about exercise helps with digestion. But when you exercise, it helps the smooth muscle, your digestive system. It helps you to digest your food. It helps your digestive system that muscle to move, because your core helps with the core, helps with that. So that's really important for the digestion process. If you're sluggish in your digestion, if you find yourself exercising, you're going to help your digestion process, okay? The type of exercise is going to be the HIIT, the high intensity. That's going to be the best. do it all, but make sure that the baseline that what you do is high intensity, okay? That's going to be the best for your hormones. And again, minimizing toxins, I think we hit a lot of that, right? Reason why food isn't enough is because we have so dang many toxins, we're just messing up our metabolic pathways with toxins that we don't even have anything left to digest our food. So we want to take a concerted effort to go through your personal care products, go through your pantry, clean out sources where you've got these things of toxins, and switch, start transfer buying these toxins to different things, okay? I'm loving, we hit the juice, right, the celery juice. I have a green juice recipe. I recommend, I drink it every day. I drink a glass of it every day. We have the green juice recipe on Herb Family Foods. You guys can get it there, herbfamilyfoods.com. But it's got turmeric, ginger, and all the best dark green vegetables in there as well too. So it's a fabulous recipe. I do that every day. I recommend that. Everybody's a patient, so y'all get the fact that if your spine is out of alignment, the nerves right here go to your digestive system, right? So you can eat kale all day long, but and it could be certified organic, but if you don't have a clear nerve supply, you're not going to digest that. So making sure you have a clear nerve supply, you all got adjusted today. So you're going to go home and digest all your food and sleep good. Just know, this is super important. The nerves that go to your stomach, same thing. If you don't have a clear nerve supply, you're not going to digest things properly in your stomach, digestive system, all of that. So that's really important, making sure you're getting your adjustments and you're getting loved ones checked as well. Connect to that. Herb Family Friends, if you're not on that, all the stuff we're posting today will be on that. Okay, the leads, that's a recipe that was literally just posted yesterday. So Herb Family Friends, get connected on that. And you have to answer a few questions because we literally monitor that. We don't let anybody in that's not a patient. We want you to feel free to share what's going on with you in a safe environment and get counsel. Okay. Questions? You guys good? Does this help you guys?
Yes.
I mean, can you see why I have 3 hours worth of content and y'all pull from me, so I'm trying to answer all your questions. It's just awesome. Cool? All right. I love you guys. Bless you guys. I hope this was good. If you have questions, my team's around. If you need any supplements, you can grab them at the front. And bless you.